Alright guys, so I saw recently where Earfun has discounted the original Earfun Pros, and more specifically, they've even added a discount code on top of the white version where you can now pick those up for only 39 bucks. So it kind of got me thinking, how well does this pair stack up against Earfun's newest pair, which is the AirPro SVs, which come in retailing at $89. I mean, we're talking about a $50 difference here. So we're gonna talk about the features that both of these have, we're gonna compare what all comes inside the box, talk about the sound, and see if it's worth spending the $50 extra on the SVs, or if it might be worth saving the $50 and going with the Earfun Pros. Now to start with, one of the biggest differences between the two is the SVs have app support. And although I do still feel like the app kind of looks like it's in beta, having a pair of earbuds that's compatible with an app means you're going to get updates. You also have different EQ options. In fact, you can go in and custom EQ these the way that you want them to sound. It also gives you the ability to switch around your controls. And so it's just nice to always have app support. But some other things as far as feature-wise is the original Earfun Pros use Bluetooth 5.0, but the SVs actually have 5.2, and they also have a low latency mode that you can switch them into. So you're gonna have a slightly better connection, but you're also not gonna have to worry about lag when it comes to movies, videos, or games. So that's another advantage to the SVs, but again, we are still talking about a $50 price difference. Now, some things that they actually have in common is both pairs do have hybrid active noise canceling, and the noise canceling on the original Earfun Pros was just okay. Where I definitely feel like there is an advantage with the noise canceling on the SVs, it just feels a little bit more stronger, and in fact, the SVs even have wind reduction on top of their noise canceling. So if you're gonna use your earbuds outdoors, especially if you're gonna be riding a bike, the SVs is a good choice because it's going to kind of keep the wind from affecting your audio. And one thing that's great on both pairs is the transparency mode. I felt like in transparency mode, I could hear my surroundings where they sounded fairly natural. And with both pairs, I could carry on a conversation with somebody without actually feeling like I needed to take my earbuds out. Now, if you are also looking for a pair to use outdoors, they both come in with an IPX5 rating. So it basically means you're gonna be fine if it starts to rain or if they get splashed on or if you sweat heavily. But both pairs, I would not recommend submerging into water. Now, as far as what they give you inside the box, both pairs do come with the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, and they both come with a USB-C cable. But the huge difference is the SV model is Qi wireless charging compatible. So you don't actually have to keep up with that USB-C cable. You can just drop the case on any wireless charger and it will start charging. And that is a huge bonus because I'm somebody that definitely likes being able to do that. So again, another thing that's in favor of the SVs. And speaking of the charging, and this is where it kind of shifts over to being an advantage to having the Pros, is the battery life. The battery life on the Pros, if you use them with the noise canceling off, you can actually get about 9 hours on the earbuds with around 32 hours using the case. Where with the SVs, if you use them with the noise canceling off, you're only gonna get about 6 hours on the earbuds and about 24 hours using the case. And same thing with using these with the noise canceling on. The original Air Pros, you're gonna get about 7 hours on the earbuds and about 24 hours using the case. Where with the SVs, it brings it all the way down to 4.5 hours on the earbuds and about 18 hours using the case. So the original Earfun Pros definitely get better battery life, but the trade-off to that is you have a slightly bigger case. So it kind of depends on if that matters to you or not. But another advantage that then shifts back over to the SVs is they actually have a fast charge feature where the Earfun Pros don't. And the fast charging on the SVs is with a 10-minute charge, you get 2 hours of use. And again, this is another feature that I find comes in handy. It's nice I can throw them in the case and get a couple hours of use out of a quick 10-minute charge. Now moving over to looking at the cases and the earbuds on both of these, the theme here is the SV is a much smaller pair. The case is smaller, the earbuds are smaller, where I feel like the Pros just has obviously a much thicker case, but the design of the earbuds definitely resembles a lot of the Edifier earbuds that were coming out at the time and the Libretones. And so it's just a much larger look to them. And I kind of prefer the slimmer look of the SVs. They both fit in well. They both are very comfortable pair of earbuds. But when it comes to the controls, this one is definitely in favor of the SVs because the Pros do not give you control over everything. In fact, on top of not giving you volume control, they also do not give you the ability to go back to the previous track. And I've never understood this move, but that is something to keep in mind. Where the SVs are giving you control over everything, you don't actually have to go in the app to switch controls around. You already get control over everything out of the box. But an advantage to the Pros is they do have smart sensors where the SVs don't, which means in the Pros, if you take them out of your ears, it will just automatically pause, and then it resumes once you put them back in. And I also like having this feature, but I really would have liked to have had the ability to take the play pause off my earbuds just so that I could get volume control. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for phone calls, both of these do use 6 microphones total, and I honestly think that both of these are pretty much on par when it comes to mic quality. But you guys can be a judge by listening to both tests here. So here is a mic test using the Earfun Air Pros, and I think they do a very good job of picking up my voice. I feel like it sounds somewhat natural, although you can still tell it has a digital sound to it, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test for the Pros with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So here is a mic test using the SVs. And just like the Pros, I think it does a really good job of picking up my voice. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test using the SVs with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound, because when I saw that both of these use a 10mm composite dynamic driver, I pretty much assumed that they would be tuned the exact same way. And honestly, that's not the case. In fact, it feels like these are tuned for two different people, because the Pros definitely have a boomier sound. It slightly has a warmer sound than the SVs do. And again, that's because it leans towards the low end, where the SVs is a much cleaner and brighter sounding earbud. So you're getting a lot more details in the SVs, where you're feeling a lot more impact with the Pros. And that's still on top of the fact that you can go in and EQ the SVs. No matter what, it just seemed like a much more detailed earbud. So they're both great in what they do, but they both do something completely different. Now, I do feel like the mids on both of these still have that same forward approach. I felt like vocalists never got lost no matter what I was listening to. So I think you're getting the same mids, but I just think they decided to boost up the low end more on one and boost up the treble a little bit more on the other. And one thing that affects is your soundstage and sound imaging, because the SVs, in my opinion, sound like a much more open earbud, and it just does a better job of being able to tell where different sounds and instruments are coming from. And that's not to say that the original Pros don't do a good job at this, but because it is a boomier, more bassier pair, it does tend to kind of close it in a little bit more. So my overall opinion is this. I think if you go with the original Pros and you save that $50, you are going to be giving up the ability to have control over everything, and you're not getting Qi wireless charging or fast charging. But what you are getting is better battery life. You're getting a boomier, bass heavier earbud, which you may prefer. And you're getting smart sensors on your earbud, which I know definitely comes in handy if somebody comes up to talk to you. You could just take them out real quick and it pauses and it resumes once you put them back in, which is always convenient. And I think for $39, it's really hard to compare a lot of earbuds to these in this price range. But if you're looking at the SVs and you don't mind spending the $50 more, I think this is the better, well-rounded earbud. I think sound signature-wise, you're still getting that boomy bass, but you're getting a very bright, clean treble. But you're getting app support, which means your earbuds can always just be updated along the way. You are getting control over everything. You're also getting Qi wireless charging and fast charging, which I think is huge. And to be able to get all of this under $100, I think that just makes this one of those, again, that's a pair that's easy to recommend to anybody. So honestly, I don't think you could go wrong with either one of these. I think if you are a bass head, I think you really probably want to look more at the original Air Pros. And I think if you just like that more well-rounded sound and you like features, you would definitely be looking at the SVs. But guys, that wraps up my comparison video, or at least a look at both of these to kind of see the differences here. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.